ask this in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Announcement and activations. As none at this time, so we move to subscript for you.
Okay, our subscripts employee of the month this month is Dr. Rhonda Phillips, principal at Parks Middle. I'm the person that nominated Dr. Phillips, and I nominated her because she had to overcome a lot of things this year. Every principal and every teacher and bus driver and everybody in the system had a lot to work with this year. But this year she had, during the spring, she had one of her coaches to resign. So she taught PE during the day. She did all the stuff required of COVID, temperature checks and everything else. And she kept the school running. Every time I went to the school, she was zipping around all over the place. She and her assistant doing everything that needed to be done to keep the school going. She's an exceptionally hard worker. And every time I go there, no matter how fragile she may be sometimes with just dealing with 100 things, she's always positive. Positive attitude makes the day better. So, in addition to that, we run the Jumpstart Summer Program, and our kids come in, they can earn credit in the Jumpstart program in one of the areas like electrical or welding. In addition to earning money, they make a couple $1,000s coming in during the summer to get to earn high school credit and money. And they get placed with businesses. Dr. Phillips and her husband own a construction company in the Opelousas area, and they've graciously hosted our students and let them do their apprentice work with it. So she puts her money where her mouth is too. So Dr. Phillips is very deserving.
Is there any additional deletion to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I don't want to add a delete, but I'd like for you to make sure that we discuss public participation, our policy. I know we have to fill out a card, we're restricted to 5 or 6 minutes, and ordinarily it's no more than half an hour. So I would just like a review, because everybody will know, and I'm to the point where we have to suspend our policy that as many people, I don't want to stop at half an hour.
Mr. Knapp.
Then secondly, I'd like to have it moved at the very beginning as opposed to the end. So
We ask
they are possible.
anybody who wants to speak, fill out a card, that's only 2 cards. We're
Two
going to
cards.
give them 5 minutes apiece. So, we go ahead and move that item. Which item is that again? We move that item up.
Another board member request, item 16.
We move item 60, to, right after we do the consent agenda.
After what?
After the consent agenda. Now, the consent agenda, is there any item that board members have?
I just have a question. It's
Right.
30 for the, security service agreement. It's $30 an hour. What are they getting paid right now? Any idea?
I think it's a level 5 renewal, isn't it?
Is it the same rate or is it just,
I know when I was
It
working.
was 30 last year also.
it was 30 last year? Okay.
Talking about hourly for them doing extra?
No, this is the security, that same market tire. This is when they
Yeah.
don't actually.
Right. Yeah, it's 30 an hour.
So it's the same rate.
Yeah, it's level.
Okay, that's all I have.
Renewal.
Okay.
Okay, need a motion?
Move to accept.
Second motion by Mr. Aben, second by Mr. Steve, all in favor? Let me hope with the little sheet. Is there any nays? Motion carried.
Mr. Coach, can I ask you to do finance also, because we have people here for that. Can y'all do finance before we do the,
Just approve the final.
yeah, approve the finance
Made a
recommendation?
recommendation?
Motion to approve. I'll second.
Okay.
For finance.
We have a motion and a second.
Yes.
Motion by Mr. Aben, second by Mr. Forty. Vote, the machine. Is there any nays? The motion carries. Okay, going to Ms. Posey item, board member request. We have anyone to speak on that particular item, and we have, Stacy, hold up. Bruder.
Mr. Chairman, I believe the thought has always been.
Now, Ms. Posey, you want to speak on the item first?
And then we'll,
You want to speak on the item first?
Oh, they can speak. I'll speak at the end.
Okay.
Public comment.
I'll serve everybody for you.
Good afternoon. I'm Stacy Goodrum, a very concerned Catalina citizen. I would like to welcome the NAACP and begin by saying, do you know who is being discriminated in this case and has been discriminated for years? The Catalina pre-K through 8th grade students. They had no voice from the very beginning. In 2015, 2016, the entire school board and the school attorneys misrepresented our students. Yes, I experienced the misrepresentation for myself in 2015, 2016 at the federal hearing in Lafayette. Do y'all realize it is humanly impossible for a pre-K through 5th and even 6th through 8th to be at the bus stop at 5:40 a.m. and return home around 5 p.m., which means the students will be away from home for 10 to 12 hours a day. They are expected to perform at their best when they can attend a neighborhood school in their area. Since 2015, I have been to a few school board meetings, and some of the board members were absent, which means they don't put in a full work day. The time that I indicated above, I confirmed with a mother when her 6th grader was transferred from Catalina Elementary to San Marville Junior High, when before he was in walking distance to Catalina Elementary School. In executive session on June 24th, when asked to appeal the judge's decision, Mr. Floyd Mott made a comment. We will be here till 2 in the morning. And the school board is expecting for our Catalina Elementary students to put in these long hours. Do you know the function of the San Juan Parish School Board? The function of the San Juan Parish School Board is to adopt those steps necessary to ensure that schools within its district are operated in the best interest of the children and the citizens. Mr. Mark Hebert, Mrs. Steve Fugile, Ms. Edna Johnson, and the entire school board. I'm sure you and your family members attended a private school. For what reasons? For a better education? Well, some of the citizens can't afford a private education. Or is it because you know the rat race that goes on in this public school system? Last week, I contacted the school board members, and the question I asked was, why didn't you second the motion to appeal? Every board member gave me a different answer. Ms. Wanda Patel, in 2015, 2016, in this office, a Catalina citizen approached you, and your comment was, our San Marville students don't want to go to Catalina. So, Ms. Patel, isn't this a good reason to second the appeal, not just a month ago, but in 2015 and 2016, and try to work on Judge Foote's recommendation to keep our school open? Yes, you were one of the board members that did not return my call. To the NAACP representatives, I will tell you something about myself. I was born and raised in Catalina, and retired with 31 years of state service. I was an executive assistant to the Vice President of Student Affairs at UL Lafayette. I had a wonderful opportunity to work with a diverse group of employees and students from around the world. And not once was I reprimanded for mishandling the students. Do you know what I do every Christmas? I make gift bags, bottle of water, a soft drink, a fruit, and a snack for the garbage pickup employees. I know this is a job I wouldn't want to do, messing with everybody's trash, working in freezing weather, and in the heat. Some of these employees are young Black men, and they are so appreciative for what I do for them. These are the kind acts that the Catahoula citizens do. I wish to bring back the young Black elementary community to join our team at Catahoula Elementary School and feel the love and the joy. Mr. Russell Foti, the Catahoula Elementary community would like to thank you for your work. However, for years and years, you knew the kind of people you worked with in this public school system and working with Ms. Lottie Beebe. From day one, they wanted Catahoula School closed, and guess what? They will probably get their way. The Catahoula Elementary citizens, as taxpayers, are being instructed, if the closure of this Catahoula school takes place, to make sure they contact you, Mr. Allen Blanchett, and every school board member for every problem that arises with their children due to having to adjust to a different school. Thanks to all, and I hope God blesses each and every one of y'all. Thank you very much.
Katie White.
It's Kate.
Kate,
Yeah, it looks like Kate, but that's
that's
okay.
White. W-H-I-T.
Sorry, I got a young one that wants to come with me. Hey, first of all, I want to thank everybody for giving me the opportunity to speak. I am actually new to this piece of agenda. In fact, so new that both of my boys were going into Catahoula this year. And to you, I'm just a mom standing here. I look like a normal mom, but I'm not. I'm actually a special needs mom. I'm special needs as well. I'm autistic, and so are these two wonderful boys you see here with me today. He has a communication delay and global developmental delays, and this one not only has autism, moderate level 1, but also has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is where his connective tissues don't work function. He's in that ready today because he doesn't want to walk with the earth. And with the closing of Catahoula schools, you're removing access to higher education for my children, other than what I can't give them at home because I don't have the knowledge of special needs that I should have, though I'm one myself. I've spent the last 7 years working with my 7-year-old, who will be 8 in December, to get him reading. We just read our first book, and I was so proud. Just read our first book. But he taught himself how to add and subtract at 3 years old. He taught himself multiplication at 4 years old. You see, I don't have all the resources like the school system does to give my boys what they need. They needed a smaller classroom setting to stay in public, because that's what I want. I don't want them in a study class. I want them to work in the real world where you guys are, where they're going to have to function in just a few short years. 10 to be exact for this one. 15 for this one. They're averaging on the day a 3-year-old level. Sometimes we're good and get a 5-year-old level. You're going against the Disability Act by closing access to our education for our boys. They need this small school, not want. Because if I could have handled ELC 9 years ago with my daughter, I certainly would have, and she wouldn't be homeschooled. She would be in school where her best friend is. But I homeschool her, and I've homeschooled these guys. But Mama needs a short little break. I don't intend to keep them there forever, because my dream has always been to homeschool. But Mama has health issues arising. I have RA, I have lupus, I'm depressive, I'm bipolar, I am anxiety ridden. This is very hard. If you can't see me standing here, I'm literally shaking because I'm in a room full of people I don't know. I'm a child sexual assault survivor. This is even harder to talk to men for me My husband's here as my support person because I didn't feel comfortable with our service dog coming today because she's not fully trained. You see, by closing Caterpillar and not standing up using your voices that you are supposed to have for us, parents, you're removing access to not only to just me, but at least one other disabled little boy that I know that needed the smaller schools and the smaller classes. We're talking 16 kids in a class. The teachers aren't overworked, they're not overrun. It's not a chaotic hot mess like ELC was for me. I pulled my daughter after 10 weeks of being in ELC. 10 weeks I lasted with the chaos. From an overworked, understaffed, overpopulated school. You're not giving us very many options. So what will I do in the fall when my boys need to go in and this school's not open? What will I do? Do you have an answer for me? Do you want me to just stick them in a classroom that's going to be too busy for them to where I get to listen to them scream 4 and 5 hours in the evening for 12 to 13 hours a day, as we just heard? So they get up at 5 in the morning to eat breakfast, get their uniform, which they may or may not want to wear that day. They may or may not want to eat what I can fix at 5 o'clock in the morning with bleary eyes with no coffee and them screaming at me, driving them down to the end of my driveway. Because I live on a busy highway, I have to stand there. I live right on Catabula. I have the option to go into ELC or Catabula because of where our house sits in Catabula. We're right there on the district lines. We tried ELC. I know for a fact that if I put my boys in there, they would progress so far that instead of going down on the autism scale, we would go back up. I have managed to keep my 5-year-old in the mild form just by using ABA therapies that I've picked up along the way, my coping skills that I cope with every day, just to talk to people, just to try to understand people, and I understand, wanted to tell. My A-Bear, I spoke to you guys on the phone, and I got a little rough with you guys, because I was frustrated at the time y'all called me back, and I apologize to you right here in front of everyone standing here. But what you admitted to me with another person here that over the phone, it comes down to the color of our skin and what we appear like. I'm not white, I'm Native American, 4 different tribes in me. I also have an Ethiopian king, an Egyptian king. I have more black blood in me than I do Eastern European. You can tell by the way I'm built and by the way my face is shaped. To be honest, I'm actually related to what everybody knows as Pocahontas. Her name is Makatoa, in her real native language. This isn't right, and every one of you sitting here today knows better, because if this was a black school being shut down, there would be hell raging over it, because it's racist. It takes away an easy access school for my babies, and I can't homeschool them next year. What do? Ship them off to a private school we can't afford because we're already on Medicaid, Children's Choice, and food stamps? I want to thank you guys for inviting me. I appreciate your time. What's this thing called? It's called a microphone. It's something you speak into and it makes your voice louder so everybody can hear me. Sorry guys, you just wanted to know.
Okay.
Yes.
That's one thing. I'd like to make a comment myself.
Say again?
Go ahead, let's see.
Okay, yeah, I'd just like to say a few words. I mean, I know we're on the time constraints. I know this is a difficult decision for some of you. I know that closing this school was one of the worst things that could have ever happened to our area. With the times that we have going on right now, things are going the wrong way. As a board, when I first got on, we developed into one of the strongest boards I've ever seen. And I've been in education 30-some years. And I've seen the board from the beginning to now. We're one of the strongest boards I've ever seen. There was nothing I thought we couldn't do, nothing. Now, with this DSEC thing, I saw the board start nipping at each other, having second thoughts on things, not focusing on what's right, not doing the things that we would have done. So I'm gonna ask you all to please, when we consider doing this again, if appeal's the right thing, let's do I mean, it's not gonna hurt us. It's, at least we go down violent, that's what I'm. To just let them take over and do this to everybody, it's wrong, and I've been telling y'all that from the beginning. We saw this when we started this, and we're seeing it now. I say, if we're gonna go down, let's go down fight. At least we can say we fought a good fight. And that's it, that's what I got to say.
Well, I just want to make my voice heard. I remember talking about 5, 6 years ago when it first started. People had to say that we want to shut down Chattanooga to make the motion. I came here with an open eye, open ears, listening. There was a packed audience in the school board room. And I listened to the people and I decided, to be fair with everyone. You close a school that's not actually being segregated. It's only a school that's in an area where it's predominant whites. And to me, it's unfair to do that. So I made a motion to keep Chattanooga open.
I was there for that meeting. I remember that.
14 seconds. This is how I stood. And I'm the board member who represents about the 70% minority. And the way I feel saying Mr. Foti, you shut the school down. That's not practicing any type of racism that I can see. And I'll be fair. And for the judge to do that, well, I better take that out of there. I want to go to jail. But it's unfair to the people of Chattanooga. I have to watch what I'm saying. I might be in jail tonight. So, any more comments?
Yes, I don't know how a school that's been there for 80-something years, they're gonna shut down. So
Well, you need a motion if you want to appeal it or not,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we need to go to executive session.
Yeah, before we vote on this. Okay. You're the attorney, you want to take?
Yeah, I would recommend that Commissioner Hammond can speak to you.
Right.
Being this is my item, I say this, when we go, after we go into executive session, that we consider the appeal.
Right.
Any
We
motion?
need a motion to go executive session. We have a motion on Mr. Mark, second by Mr. Steve, all in favor? Any nays, motion carried.